Yeah, players were just discussing a little bit, talking about Seether.
Oh, mate, Shelly.
Yeah, old mate Shelly. As a little bit of an update before we get into this, Seether 2-0'd probe.
Ooh, 2-0?
Yeah, they already finished.
Oh, all right. Well, we're gonna hopefully, you know what? No matter what, we're gonna get a pretty good match, but from the winner of this. But we are gonna be spotting in onto Eternal Empire, Ile, which does of course stand for escalation entirely limits expansion. Not really. Yeah, it's like if you go tall, you can't go wide. That's Civ rules right there. Here in the top right-hand corner map, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map, it is going to be a teal Terran all the way from the land down under. Proxying, he is going to be the former champion of ESL Open Cup Fueled by Dare. We're going to be representing Bear Me, but playing for Team Mindfreak. We have HuT.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, going for a pool first, we have the Indian Zerg player representing Downfall Gaming. It is Demi. And he spots it. He spots it.
Oh my god.
He sees it. He knows. Okay. All right.
But HuT's for it anyway, and this is what you want to be doing as a Terran player.
Yeah, and again, because Demi went for that pool first, immediately he starts a spine crawler. He starts his lings and queens as well. So, and he's pulling the drone, so it looks like he should be able to hold this, just like he shut down that proxy in the previous series.
Yeah, I don't think HuT is gonna have much of a chance with this proxy now. He is still gonna be grouping up his Marines here. He is rallying them together. So his plan for the moment is just to pull up his forces and have one pretty potent push. Hopefully get some bunkers up, see what he can get done, but yeah, for the most part, he's more than likely going to be floating at least one of these bunkers home.
Yeah, I mean, there is still one SCV. He had two to begin with, and one of them was taken out, so potential for bunkers is there, and it looks like he tries to go for it, but the spine is already done.
Yeah.
Exactly. He spots the spine. Question marks are thrown down. The map hacks are called, obviously, but Jesus, that's it.
There you have it.
How dare you pull first, Demi?
God
damn.
Can't you just let us normal standard players play standard?
Right?
Oh, he's being targeted, and it does get taken out just before the bunker can finish being made. This is going from bad to worse here for HuT. He's still not out of this yet. If he has been watching as much StarCraft as he has been playing StarCraft, then he should know how to transition out of it.
I'm a little bit worried. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried that he still hasn't lifted up his Raxes. They're still there in the middle of the map, and I feel like he should lift them up and start moving them as soon as possible. And there we go. Finally, he does lift them up. And oh my god, there's so many links here made for Demi. A little bit of an overcommitment, I would say.
Maybe, but he does sense the opportunity here for the counterattack. He just wants to grasp it as much as he can. And that's why he's gone for the massive link count here. He doesn't have any banelings as well. Which
he did cancel his baneling nest. He was making it, and then he opted to cancel it afterwards. There's no link speed for quite a while, though. And again, these slow lings, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do too much here. I do definitely think that Demi, he did overcommit to it a little bit, but we'll see if he can find some damage though.
Opening, he cannot pounce on this without link speed. Without link speed, these Marines can just kite these Zerglings for days. HuT does get a pretty good scout off, sees what Demi has back over in his main. Does scout that it's not really much to be worried about. And now he's going to be transitioning to his Hellions as a means to get map control.
Yeah, and right now, you know, at least Demi, he is containing HuT to his main base. It will take a while for HuT to actually go down to his natural and expand there. Behind this, oh god, the Marines do get caught out though.
They do, but they are providing a pretty good scout here, or not scout, what's it called? Buffer for the Hellions. Will be able to chase all of Demi's Lings away. Doesn't quite get that Overlord with that lifted bunker, but the Viking is out now. He's gonna go all the way home.
Yeah, and finally HuT does secure his natural. He is landing there. Meanwhile, we do have Demi finally working on his Baneling nest. He's just droning up, really, like he's looking pretty fine at home. Meanwhile, though, HuT, he is looking to go for a couple of Liberators, and I do love that he is getting his third CC up and running as well. We've seen this before, like when you fail a proxy, you like double expand basically, which is what HuT has done. So he will be able to catch up in that SCV count, in that worker count.
Indeed, he will. We see a not too much of a transition. I am actually just wondering right now. Armory is being thrown down by HuT. Is he going into mech, or is he planning to go in with all these Hellions, morph him into Hellbats?
Yes.
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 Will?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, there's stem being made here by HuT.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still sort of planning his transition out of this if this fails. This is a very committed push out from HuT, though.
This could deal a lot of damage. Yeah, there are only 4 queens here, and if all of these Hellions turn into Hellbats, they can deal quite a bit of damage. But there are a couple of Banelings set up defensively, which could help out if they get the connections they need.
Yeah, we'll see how the target firing from HuT is going to be. It is looking really good. Look at all of these drones here that were herded away by the Liberators. They are so vulnerable. The queens from Demi are providing a really good block here, and it does look like Demi is going to save those drones.
Oh god,
13 drones have gone down. He has not morphed. Okay, he's morphed 1 Hellbat, but that is it. Mostly just Hellions and Liberator. Going to be able to take out 13 Lings, or drones rather, and provide quite a bit of lost mining time. On top of that, Demi is now on equal footing. HuT has evened out this game.
I like how HuT, he's like, all right, I'm going to go throw an armory down and I'm going to be able to do a bunch of damage with Hellbats. He didn't even need the Hellbats. He didn't need them at all. It was just with pure Hellions.
Interests there.
Yeah.
He cut out while they were morphing. The Lings from Demi are starting to come in. Good drone drilling here by HuT, but this is once again an opportunity for Demi to, I wouldn't say equalize, but take HuT even further down. There is already a tank out, and that in addition to the Marines are going to be enough of a deterrence. And HuT is still standing strong.
Yeah, and behind this, Demi, he did drone up. He is now at a decent worker count. And with these Lings, he's able to, harass and keep HuT, again, a little bit more maintained, or keep him honest, keep an eye on where his army is positioned, as well as the worker count at the third base. And here we have Demi transitioning into Ling Bane Hydra. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't throw down the Spire. That's something that he's a little bit more known for.
Yeah, well, he's got to step out of the shadow at a certain point. Ling Bane Hydra, I am definitely a little... I don't know, I do definitely think it's an odd choice from Demi, like he was saying, especially considering the unit composition that HuT is going for here. But yeah, I mean, he just thinks that... maybe Demi just thinks that he knows that he's got a reputation behind him, so he's anticipating HuT to be preparing against Mutas, maybe?
Yeah, it is definitely possible. It also could be showing that, Demi, he has been practicing a lot more recently. Maybe he's a lot more comfortable with Ling Bane Hydra as opposed to the more old school Ling Bane Muta that he have been seeing.
Look at the Marines and those Banelings. HuT does manage to pick up most of them away. But yeah, that was just brilliant positioning on the Banelings.
Yeah, nicely defended there. We do have HuT rotating to the north, but again, the Lings are already here in position, pushing HuT away. And behind this, Demi, he's taking his 4th base. He's working on all of his upgrades as well. He will be behind just a little bit with his... Oh, no, never mind. He's actually ahead in his 1-1. Kind of surprisingly. I guess HuT, his upgrades were delayed because of that opener, because he was focusing more on his worker count.
Definitely was, to an extent. And for now, we just see HuT once again going to be playing like, who's that player who played last night? Buddy. Just going for multi-prongs.
Yeah.
Pure Marine tank at the moment right now going to be coming out from HuT. But it is arguably much more effective versus Hydra Ling Bane.
Yeah, and I do really like this from Demi. He doesn't try to take the fight. He accepts that he can't engage that, and he gives up his 4th base. Meanwhile, though, this drop is doing so much damage. Was able to kill all the Lings.
Yeah, look at how isolated the units of Demi are. How they were being forced to come back, and unfortunately, Hydra's speed not quite done. There were a couple of gaps in the creep as well.
Yeah,
which does mean that those Lings were going into certain death, and the reinforcements came to realize that they weren't reinforcing.
Yeah, at the same time, HuT is pushing it to the 4th.
All right, let's, yeah, I'm just holding my breath right now. Very nice splits and kiting coming out from HuT. Was able to isolate just about every Baneling there, and I think there's too much firepower. GG is called, and HuT going to be taking game number 1 in his best of 3 series.
Yeah, GG HuT off of a failed proxy racks. He takes game number 1, and again, a lot of that did come down to the fact that he got so much worker damage with those starting Hellions. Demi, he was just caught a little bit out of position. He had a lot of like Lings and queens, but again, Lings don't trade too effectively against Hellions. He didn't have enough Banelings either to deter them, and HuT, he just dove right into the main. That was insane.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to articulate. It's this multi-prog style that it can be the bane of a lot of Zerg players. It's something that never really went away throughout the history of StarCraft 2, but I feel like, especially in recent months, after there was a bit of a phase in 2019 where a lot of players were experimenting with mech in TvZ, BC mech. That was a big thing, but you got to go back to the roots, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it wasn't just like a Hellion run by that did all that damage. Like, a lot of that did come down to the fact that the Liberator hit at the same time, and that forced Demi to bunch up all his workers in that corner. And that kind of like was the domino effect that led to all of those things happening right for HuT. So it was really cool how that played out.
Yeah, but HuT didn't go for those drones. You could definitely see a little bit of panic there with Demi. He was thinking, oh no, where do I move? If I leave these drones here, they're going to get fried by Hellions. If I move them, there's a possibility that they'll path somewhere weird. But yeah, in the end, he was able to keep those alive. But unfortunately, those Hellions, they just went on to a new target. Drones straight into the main.
Indeed. So we are loading into game number 2. It's best of 3.
Yeah, and as we go load in... Oh, we've already loaded in. All right. Well, here we are then. Going to be on Everdream LE. LE, if you did not know, does in fact stand for Light Ice. Light Ice. That is Light Ice. I'm pretty sure wait, where did I hear that before? It's a phrase, Light Ice, something or another. In the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, it is going to be a teal Terran all the way from the land of Australia. He is your most recent ESL Open Cup Fueled by Dare champion after quite a long break. Now, he's actually looking like one of the favorites in this bracket. He is representing Downfall Gaming as well as Clan Bear Me. We have HuT.
Game paused.
Up. All right, getting a couple of lag spikes here. Not sure what's going on. We are on the Singapore server, which is one thing to keep in mind. It's usually... Yep. Oh, well, in the I'm gonna throw out the Discord stream real quick. In the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map, it is going to be a red Zerg all the way from the land of India, the jewel of India. He is your most recent Grand Platypus Open champion, Big Platty himself. representing Downfall Gaming, we have Demi. Going for that pool first, once again on Everdream. Something that he is quite want to do. So we'll see how exactly that comes into play. Could also be a defensive pool first. That is something that a lot of Zerg players do like to do on Everdream. It's something, you know, you're gonna be covering all your bases. Don't want to be taking that risk of, you know, of another proxy.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He did the same thing in game number 1. It was a more defensive pool first, just in case a proxy happened again. Because even though HuT's proxy failed, he still ended up winning that game. So, you know, it wouldn't have been surprising to see HuT go for it again. But this time, HuT opting to go for more standard play.
Yeah, and I guess this also goes into a little bit of, yeah, scouting is cheating. I agree with you there, Demi. It also goes into something that was going on before the matches actually started in the lobbies. Demi was actually saying that he wasn't feeling too confident in this particular match.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he is just trying to cover all his bases as much as he can.
Definitely. I mean, again, we've seen Demi perform really well, but again, we haven't really seen him perform against HuT. We don't really know how HuT looks in this matchup, and even if he were to advance against Seether, since Seether didn't play last week either.
Exactly. I think in general, Demi might not be too confident in the ZVT matchup. You know, there's not a lot of really high regular Terran players that he practices with. I'm pretty sure the only one is Azure.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't see Seether or HuT go up against Demi too often. It is mainly Azure, and we've seen them go back and forth. But yeah, we'll see what HuT can do. As again, last week we saw HuT be very, very versatile. He did have a lot of builds, a lot of different styles against Miyamika at least. So we'll see how he does against Demi here.
Well, so far they are just sizing each other up. As much as it is cheating, you know. It's not against the rules to scout. It's cheating, but there's nothing in by the admins about it.
Yeah, and again, HuT going for a pretty fast third base once again in his main base, so looking to lift and float that later on. And it does get scouted as well. So Demi with that Overlord Scout, nicely done. He's able to see everything that's happening in the main base, sees the starport with the tech lab as well.
Yeah, this should just be chased away here. Should have an inkling that it's going to be Banshees. He doesn't see any fusion cores, but it's actually going to be a Raven coming out. And HuT did do this last week versus Miyamika, and it surprisingly worked out pretty well. It's still something that I actually might prefer over the Banshee. Well, I prefer the unit of the Raven over the Banshee for harassment, right? But you have to keep resources in mind, I suppose.
Yeah, we actually spoke about it a lot last week, and even subsequent casts after that. How HuT he very much so played out of meta, going Ravens for Raven harass very often, when really we don't really see that from any other Terran. It isn't a very common thing to see, but HuT he does it and he makes it work. Yeah,
and the thing that really does make the Raven harass work is that, unlike the Banshee or the Liberator, Raven, where your Zerg opponent can just position a Spore, that's kind of tough to do with Ravens. They tend to just move in, throw down that auto turret, move right out, hang around in dead space, and yeah, that's also part of the reason why I do love the Raven for harass.
Yeah, there's a lot of
in the early game, but
yeah, there's a lot of potential there, especially because they are an energy-based unit, so they can just poke in, poke out, and there's just a lot of longevity as well. So it is really cool to see HuT throw that out.
Eventually, if you think that you can't get any more harassment done, you can try to get them out and have a free detector to clear creep. So they scale pretty well into the mid game as well. They do cost quite a bit, which does delay a couple of other, mostly upgrades is what it delays, but HuT is on top of it, already getting +1 and stem. These Hellions nicely being surrounded here from Demi, all immediately taken out without getting any damage done. HuT, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Okay,
they are good
not
friends.
trying to escape, but Demi will be on top of it, will be able to take it out. Next seems to be Zerglings to draw fire away from
Ooh.
these drones. And Demi looks like he wants to go into the Spire once again, but not quite going to commit to it yet.
I'm a little bit worried because he went to go for it, but the it was cancelled because the drones were in the way. I mean the lings were in the way, so it just didn't build.
Oh, that is oof. That is
Yeah.
the worst feeling in the world.
That does happen. It happens a lot with spores as well, because when you try and throw spores in the middle of a mineral line, sometimes there are drones in the way and it just doesn't build. We'll see.
I know that feeling with turrets.
Yeah.
Well, Demi is already on top of it, thinking, ah, yes, I don't have that yet. I was supposed to have it.
Mm-hmm.
I like this one overlord just chasing Raven. And like, yeah, I know where you are. Don't try nothing. A little bit of a move out coming out from HuT. Does he have medevacs with this? Well, he should be rallying them if they aren't already here. Which, again, when you went for that Raven first, you do want to get your aggression out as soon as you can, because otherwise you're just going to be waiting back at home for a bit. You know, you already have the Marines. You don't quite have them to the best potential that they can be. You know, +1 is not quite, well, +1 armor, I should say, not quite there. Combat shield not there, medevac's not there, but you want to be slowing down the Desert player as much as you can. 10 more drones taken out here, and that wasn't by the Raven. Or it might have been by the Raven. I think it was by the Raven. It might not have been. It was a mixture of the move out and the Raven. Which is, you know, again, that's why you want to be moving out early on. So, welcome to my TED Talk.
Yeah, that was nicely done there. More workers going down, and again, HuT, he just continues to apply pressure, continues to keep Demi on a lower economy, was able to deny that base, and now with 1-1 finishing up for HuT, we'll see how much more damage he can get done, looking to just clear some creep for now. But again, as this happens, that Raven can just dive in again and get more worker kills.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a risk, but multi-prong is pretty good, like, as we have heard about in the past. HuT pickup. I'm loving these reactions coming out from HuT. They are split second right now. I said split second. Okay, not as clean, but still does its forces alive there. Demi's holding on. Demi, I think, has realized what HuT is going to go for, and he's just planning to try to catch HuT in the middle of the map where he's got creep.
Yeah, again, HuT, he's doing a really good job at clearing this creep with these medevacs. You know, he does lose a couple of units here and there, but overall, he is doing a lot of damage with them. Demi, with that Spire Opener, does finally clean up that Raven, and we'll see if he's able to stop these drops, which has been what HuT's been known for, especially in these ESL Open Cups.
Well, I'm liking the use of the Viking, just trying to draw attention away from Mutalisk. Not really working out too well, but now HuT does have an opportunity to going in with his main force down to south as well. Good setup here from HuT, but his techs are looking a little bit exposed as the Mutalisk fly straight in, is patrolling his Marines though, which means that they will be able to fall back and reinforce these tanks pretty at a moment's notice, pretty much.
Yeah, and at the same time, there's a drop in the main base, and it's so difficult for Demi because the main push is still here, and he's looking terrifying right now. HuT is maxed out.
And Demi is not. More can you go for? You're just looking at this patrol from HuT. I feel like this is something that's not as common, but I'm actually kind of liking it. It has its downsides, but it does make it easier to split his forces. And Demi trying to dive in, but not quite getting the value that he wants. Underestimating the tank count that HuT really had there, as HuT continues to push on forward. And I don't know, it's looking pretty rough. Demi is going to have to get a really good surround to stop this, but even now, HuT is trying to prevent Demi from even setting up that surround as best as he can.
Yeah, and again, the problem is that every single time Demi dives in, he loses more and more banelings, and he has to try and rebuild that count, but it's just less and less each time. We can see the supplies differentiating even more. HuT is able to take out one more hatchery, and he's just going to keep going until he hits the third base. But finally, Demi's moving in.
Though he is a little bit on creep, but does rush it back away. Is starting to kite pretty well, but the unit cohesion of HuT is not quite there. He does have reinforcements coming back in, And Demi, as you said, every time he loses banelings, he just doesn't quite have the gas count to remake them, or the lava count even.
Yeah, he doesn't, and now we've gotten to the point where there's just so much Marines here with this army, and it doesn't look like there are enough Banes. I imagine HuT, as long as the splits are good enough, he should be able to keep pushing and take down this third base.
And he is not taking any unnecessary risk. Look at how close to creep he's on without actually going deep in. This is ideal. For any Terran players out there, that is the ideal for when you're pushing with only Marines. A lot of banelings are being morphed now, and they are looking to crash right on top of HuT. This isn't a lot of space to split, but HuT does it anyway. There are a lot of Mutalisks still alive, and there's just not quite enough of a Marine count. And look at the worker count just being, not worker count, sorry, army count being pretty much evened out.
Yeah, Demi is just able to hold on. He does snipe a couple of medevacs, which I think is pretty huge in this state of the game. And HuT, he does have reinforcements. He does push those Mutalisks away, but Demi, he's expanding to the top left-hand corner of the map, and it looks like he's held on for now, and the game is going to continue.
Oh, well, that was not where I thought this was going.
Yeah, that was very close. Demi almost lost his third base, but he was just able to hold on, and it looks like now HuT, he is rotating to the north, but this is giving Demi time, and these Mutalisks are going to be giving Demi time to get a higher Ling Bane count.
Indeed they are. Even going into the infestation pit, trying to transition as quickly as he can, because he does know that his real Ling Bane is on a timer. HuT is just going to continue to be pumping out Marines. And now that he's later on in the game, he's getting his +3 weapons. It's not too difficult for HuT to get Thorus, which is something that Demi is keeping in mind.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this army composition does scale off eventually. Demi is working on his hive, but HuT already working on +3. So this bio is going to be looking quite strong for quite some time, as this drop is doing so much more damage.
Indeed, it is 5 more drones to go down, as well as all the scouting information that HuT needs.
Yeah, he does put the hive timing as well for Demi, so he knows he does have this period where there is no hive, there is no 3-3 either, and he's going to be using this to push into the fourth base as well. Another hatchery goes down. He's suffocating Demi right now, and he's dropping the third as well.
This is a multi-prong that we have been waiting to see from HuT, and he is not quite able to take out that hatchery. But now he's just rotating. Just finding another opening.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He took out the northern hatchery, right? Like, either way, Demi is still stuck on these 4 bases, and he's struggling so much to try and expand. His third is so low that it could just be like a drop could just go later and just pick it off, as HuT is pushing somewhere else. So Demi, I feel like these Mutalisks need to be a little bit more active. They need to draw HuT's attention elsewhere just to give Demi some breathing room, but HuT, he's not giving him any of that. He's pushing out on the map once again.
I will say that Demi is definitely trying, but we could potentially get into a base trade scenario. There are no turrets in this third base, and HuT is not going home.
Yeah, he's going to be relying on his reinforcements to deal with the Mutalisks, which could work out. It depends, as HuT does seem like he's going to want to push further into Demi's creep. No, it looks like he's pulling back.
Going around, he thinks that the northern base has been retaken, when it hasn't. He's setting up his drops as well here. And we'll spot the Ultra then, which is ever important when you've been mostly Marine tank in a game. There are no turrets here either, unless they were taken out.
Yeah, these Mutalisks are doing so much damage, but HuT, he's pushing into the fourth of Demi.
Base straight, base straight. I like that hot pickup. It's going into a Doom drop, but I don't think it's going to get too much done here before the Lingbane of Demi is back here reinforced. Look at those Banelings all crashing in. Does stretch to secure most of his forces, but in the end, was it worth it?
Yeah, I was going to say I'd give the edge to Demi, but he just lost his spawning pool, so we aren't going to be seeing any more Lings coming out from him. He's forced to rebuild that spawning pool. But again, HuT, he's struggling right now in the economy.
Yeah, I mean, Demi right now, he's just planning on going more Ultras and more Mutas, because they may cost quite a bit of gas, but these are resources that Demi has to burn. HuT has nothing.
Yeah, all he has is gas. There are no minerals left, and again, these mutalisks, they're the saving grace for Demi right now. They were able to put Demi in the situation where he is, where he's up in workers, where HuT is contained at home, and we'll see if HuT is able to hold on long enough to reestablish himself.
Well, that's definitely going to be a bit of a tough ask. We have reached a point in the game where this third player is comfortable with their economy and is really just biding their time for a maxed out push here.
Yeah, I mean, both players are hurting. Like Demi, he still hasn't secured another base. He's still looking for that as well. But he does have his hive. He's working on his upgrades. He has Ultralists as well. He has a decent army. HuT, he's gonna have to set up either very defensively or try and make drops work again.
Either way, they are. You really can't go wrong here. Trying to bait these realists into mine shots, but Demi, he's a little bit too big brain for that.
Yeah, even striking around, trying to see if this base has been retaken, but not quite yet from HuT. I would kind of like to see him like lift maybe even his natural to try and take a northern base, but again, it's so difficult to try and expand when these mutalisks are out on the map.
Yes.
He lifted up his natural?
Oh no, not the natural, the main. That's how you said the main base, yeah. But yeah, we are definitely just biding our time here, as is Demi. The army counts are actually starting to look pretty similar, and eventually we'll get to a point where he's able to have more army because of his lack of workers. That point hasn't happened quite yet, but we are in the late game. Mules are a thing that HuT is free to take advantage of, and he's pushing in. So going to put on even more pressure onto our Shark. And this is not a very good position right now for HuT, but look at the control clicking does match and bring every single Marine back, and there we have it. It's still not going to be enough. Demi takes game number 2, and we are tied up now, going into the ace match.
Yeah, GG, well played, HuT. As we were saying, it all came down to those mutalisks. Like Demi, he was able to make so much happen with that, kill so many SCVs, and force HuT into a position where he was very much so all in. And we also saw a little bit of indecisiveness. We saw HuT outside the 4th of Demi, and then he like backed off and rotated around to try and hit the northern base, but there was no northern base. So again, like more time was bought for Demi, and things just kind of aligned in the perfect way for Demi just to edge it out and come out ahead.
That he definitely did there. One of the closer games that we weren't quite expecting here. HuT definitely looked like he had in the bag or in the early game, but again, Demi, our Shark himself, the grandest platypus.
Yeah.
I would give a bit more credit than just dying to a 1-1 timing.
Yeah. I mean, he has won 14 GPOs in a row. There's 14 in a row, and there is no one else. There is no one else that can actually compare in that respect to his performance in GPO as a whole. We'll see how he does here as HuT. He is kind of I almost want to say the rising star in this situation. There was a lot of hype around him last week, but yeah, now it's Demi's opportunity to see if he can take it to him. I will be joining this game, but we'll see if my internet holds out, as I did spike pretty badly in that last game. I went up to like 2K MS, which is not good.
Definitely not. Which sounds like what you need, Light. No, we're not sponsored. Never mind.
What?
I was gonna plug for a VPN, but then I'm like, oh wait, we aren't sponsored. No.
I thought you were gonna transition into a Dare sponsorship.
What?
I thought you were gonna transition into like a Dare ad, but.
What would that be into the context? Oh, Kuro, if the answer to that, pouring it into the router.
Yeah. I thought that's what you were going for.
Right. But here we are now, gonna be on Everdream. Yar Harfiddly LE by the C2 for 3 with me, buddy. If you are, I'm gonna need Slappy D, throw away your keys, because I need you to get ready with energy by Dare. Here in the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map, it is going to be on Teal Terran, all the way from the land of Australia. Going to be, let's see what he may build out of the starport. He is the most recent ESL Fueled by Dare champion, representing Clan Bear Me, but playing for Team Mindfreak. We have HuT.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Simulacrum LE, we have the Indian Zerg player going for a pool first once again. He is representing Downfall Gaming. It is Demi.
You know
And,
something wrong when Demi's making Hydras.
Yeah, that does go to show that that he didn't go for Hydras last game. He went for Mutalisk and he won. So we'll see if that comes into play in this series. We'll see, or in this game. Yeah, we'll see if he throws down a Hydra Den or a Spire, and whether or not that's indicative of how this game goes. But yeah, very quickly, I do also want to mention that. So you're gonna go into it. This tournament is sponsored by Dare Iced Coffee, so huge shout out to them.
By Dare.
Yes, it is fueled by Dare, just like my router needs to be. And like, shout out to them. Like, if it wasn't for them, like, this tournament wouldn't be happening with their partnership with ESL. So it's really cool that they're investing in StarCraft, that they're investing in esports in general. Not just Dare, actually. I don't know if you saw, but ANZ Champs recently partnered with Menulog, which is basically like Uber Eats here. Yeah, it's cool to see, especially because I was actually talking about that recently. I think with Milk, I can't quite remember. Maybe it was with you. Talking about like potentially Uber Eats sponsoring like esports, like, and how that makes so much sense.
Oh my god, yeah. It does.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be a regional thing. Like you said, Menulog is Uber Eats of Australia.
Oh, we also have Uber Eats though. It's just like, it's like a competing company,
Oh, we used to have Uber Eats, but then the monopoly ran out. They just pulled out.
Good.
And speaking of monopoly, Demi's switching it up a little bit this game, going for a 3 hatch. A little bit more standard. I feel like in the previous 2 games, Demi was a little bit afraid to get his 3rd at, even around this time. Delayed it a little bit longer, but yeah, I think now he's definitely feeling a lot more confident against his opponent. Knows that HuT is trying anything in the early game, so
yeah. What was really interesting was that HuT went for a double Reaper opener, and he did manage to kill 2 workers, which is nice. But and he secured. I guess the goal of it is to make sure you get that main scout. That doesn't get denied if you just had 1 Reaper. So I'm not too sure how much that's worth, like how valuable it is going for those 2 Reapers for that main scout. But he does have that security. He does spot that there is no early lair, there's no early Roach Warren either. He spots all the gases, so HuT himself should also feel relatively secure.
Indeed he should. We do have a temporary calm before the upcoming storm. We do see a Roach Warren now being thrown down by Demi, who is gonna go Roaches versus Terran, and not a Roach Rush, mind you.
This is...
There are already a couple of factories out on the map, so...
Yeah, so what's interesting is that we did see an Overlord Scout from Demi, and he did see the 1-1-1 opener, so he knows that Ravens or Banshees are coming out. Maybe he thinks it's a Raven because it's HuT. Either way, there is one of those starport units on the way. He doesn't spot... Oh, there is a pause. It does seem to be lagging. This time it isn't me. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Keeping it there.
Yes, definitely. And what he doesn't spot is that second factory. Yeah, with that Blue Flame Hellion. So because of that, this could catch Demi off guard. In saying that, though, he is already working on a Roach Warren, and Roaches are what you need against this.
I'm just watching out. I'm just keeping a lookout for the armory. If it ever gets thrown down, we'll find out just how committed HuT is going to be.
Yeah, I would be a little bit concerned because if we see an armory, then I would almost favor Demi more because again, like Roaches against Hellbats, like I would take that in day instead of like Ling Bane, just because there is that micro potential to split against the Banelings. So it's a little bit more risky. I feel like Roaches are safer in that respect. Yeah. So we'll see how this plays out.
Game resumed.
Yeah, but well, yeah, that's a matter of time. We're about to get our answer.
Yeah, and again, when it comes to Roaches, something that is really good against Roaches in general, in this matchup, are Banshees, and that's exactly what's on the way as well. So I don't know what to make of this situation.
Yeah, the two ways to play this is by going for a multi-prong or having a stronger frontal push.
Yeah.
Our HuT seems to be going for the former. I'll see how that changes.
We will, as again, Demi, he's still in the dark about a couple of things. There is a Ling at the front of HuT just chipping away. Yeah, he was hoping that there was a gap in the wall to try and sneak in, but HuT was on top of it. Nicely done there.
That's how it should be walling. Now, Demi, Demi is now much more aware that there isn't going to be a third base anytime soon.
Yeah.
You do normally see the Terran players build that third base into their wall. A couple of alarms should be ringing through Demi's head right now.
Yeah, he's getting an overseer. He sees the Hellions and the Queens. He sees all the other Hellions as well. He's getting more Roaches. He does have a decent link count, but I don't think he has quite enough Roaches to deal with this. We'll see how the transfuses are.
Here comes that Hellbat morph that we were all talking about. Not all of them are firing. This is a really good position from Demi, managing to get the concave on top of all the Hellbats. Hellbats actually focus more on the Queens right now as they are arguably the more high-profile target, but they are getting transfused, but the energy runs out. The health of these Hellbats are running so low, though. And at the end of the day, I'm not convinced HuT did enough damage there. We'll get all the Queens, but I'm just not convinced quite yet. We do see another run by coming down of Hellions. But again, they're not taking out a lot of drones. Okay, what am I saying? They're actually taking out a lot of drones here.
Yeah, 9 workers do go down, and the Queen does stay alive.
I think it was even. I think the trade was just about even, maybe even favoring Demi a bit more.
Yeah, I would definitely say it favors Demi. Again, it does come down to the fact that HuT, he still doesn't have his third base on location. He didn't make it behind this, but he is still just mining off of 2 bases. And as we saw, again, like by happenstance, Demi went for Roaches, and that is what he needed to defend against this Hellbat push. And again, we do have Hellions trying to sneak in. There are Roaches in position. The one thing that went really well for HuT, though, is that we saw him snipe the majority of the Queens, so that will impede creep spread. It does also affect injects as well, but behind this we do have a Spire coming down from Demi.
That good old switch. So as Realma in chat pointed out, Roach Ling switching to Mutalisk can be infuriating if the Terran player isn't prepared for it. And right now HuT just isn't. He's even going for mech, which will delay his anti-air for quite a bit here.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll see, because it's so imperative that he scouts this Spire so then he can start his anti-air, whether it's Thors, whether it's Vikings, whatever he decides to go for. And so far he hasn't seen it quite yet. It does look like he is trying to multi-prong once again, trying to attack in multiple locations, looking to try and sneak into the third.
But the Roaches are already there, prepared. Now this run-by was meant to HuT wasn't really planning on keeping that alive, but the fact that it only got 2 drones, that's gotta sting if you're in HuT's position right now.
Yeah, definitely. I do like that he is still working on that Banshee count. 3 Banshees are out on the map now, and they can be so good at sniping Queens, stopping creep spread, just sniping Ravagers even as well. So I do quite like that he's still committing to Banshees, but again, we'll see how much they can get done as they are also sharking around, trying to find opportunities.
Means you're just gonna have to waddle back. We saw it, Kuro.
Queens are waddling back, trying to get that creep spread going. Again, I do like that HuT. He's trying to find more run buys. He's trying to find more drone damage, and that's what he needs to do in the position that he's in. As he is double expanding. This is his 4th base that he's attempting to land.
Yeah, not quite going to be able to get that done, but the Cloak Banshees do arrive here.
Yeah.
The Roach is going to be able to deal with that. Keeps most of his SCVs alive behind this, but HuT is actually... No, Demi is actually getting quite a bit of damage here. Just the delay itself.
And the big thing that's... Yeah, and the big thing that's coming is those Mutalisks are on the way. The Spire still hasn't been scouted, and because of that, there are no missile turrets. There are Cyclones, and that's going to be like his HuT's only anti-air. And Cyclones can deal relatively well with Mutalisks, but only in high numbers. And I don't think he quite has the count just yet. These Mutalisks, they will be moving out quite soon, and they could just deal game-ending damage.
It's all about them lock-ons for now. Okay, well, there is still some hope for HuT here. He's going into the main of the Banshees, but...
Yeah, especially because Demi, he did wait until he had a big, massive wall of Mutalisks, so they didn't hit as soon as they could have. So more time is given to HuT to prepare. Again, the Hylian run-by was taken care of.
Ooh, nice cloak here. The Overseer not quite as fast, could not quite keep up with the Mutalisks, and now HuT is very well aware of what's coming for him. No turrets coming out as of yet, but will be buying some time for Thor.
Exactly. That's
Banshee.
That's the most important part. Like, these Banshees are just bought so much time. He spotted the Mutalisks and he forces them back as well. So we'll see if it was enough. The missile turrets are on the way, but they're not quite done just yet.
No, they are not. And what we're saying about Cyclones in high numbers, or only Cyclones in high numbers being able to deal with it. Yeah, this is what we mean. The Thor is about to pop out, and it will be enough to deter Demi, but he did get quite a bit of damage done. HuT has thrown down the turrets, immediately gets them to complete building, but these tanks, man, they're just so exposed.
Yeah, they're so exposed. The Thors, like Queens, they kind of waddle around, and it does take them a little bit of time to maneuver between the bases. 9 more SCVs do go down, but with these Thors, HuT should be able to push this away. Oh my god, but he's just losing so much more. HuT, please.
Jesus, Frank. Now Thor's getting targeted down. The SCVs are not quite there to repair. Even more Mutalisks are coming in. This is just not looking like it's going HuT's way at all.
If another Thor doesn't pop out soon, that's it.
That's it. And with that, he may have been feeling a little unconfident going in, but now we have it. It is confirmed. It is official right now, Light. GPO champion, more than ESL Fueled by Dale champion. Demi is going to advance to the next round to face another GPO champion in Caesar.
Wow, GG. And honestly, I would love to host a little bit of like a cross finals sort of thing. ESL Open Cup champion against like GPO.
Oh yeah, Kuro mentioned that as well. Explained it like get all of the get them all together. You know what we'll have? We'll have Caesar, who is the first champion of both. No, Caesar and Mio Micah.
Yeah.
As they are both champions of both. They will be the captains. Free for all. Yeah, well, you know, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we do have like keep track of points in regards to GPO. That's with all our tournaments. That's how we end up with like the rankings at the end of the year. So we do keep track of like the rankings of GPOs and the top players. So we can also use that and incorporate that in some way. And I guess make our own for ESL if we wanted to make that work. But yeah, GG.
You know what? Dare, hit us up. And if you don't, then we'll go to
ESL.
No, I was thinking of what's an iced tea?
What's like a competitor?
Yeah.
Morning Wang. Is that
that's what we'll go for. You know what my other idea was, like?
What?
We get Dare to sponsor the uncles, and we have them in a show match versus Incredible Chai.
Ooh.
But who will sponsor Incredible Chai?
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Wow. So Demi, he does take down HuT 2-1, and he will be facing the other Australian Terran in Seether.
Well, another Australian Terran player.
True.
Don't forget about a boy.
Yeah. There's more than two. You know, there are
Exactly.
three in
There
total.
are three.